Aliens and Earthlings. It is I, the Space Pimp. Today, here on, I believe this is going on Moofrog's channel, I will be painting my skateboard grip tape. Any of you who know me from the skate park knows that my grip tapes tend to look something like this. So I had started recording one of these videos, and then camera cut out memory, and then it took me 3 days to get iCloud storage services set up and all my other photos put to the cloud. So that's done now. So I'm here filming round 2, and in round 1 you were going to get to see me grip the board and I always begin the boards with this little logo here. This is something I've been drawing as a kid. A psychic told me once that she thought it meant the elements, so that could be that. I don't know. I had a buddy once send me a picture of a tombstone somewhere in England. It was a Freemason tombstone, and they had a very similar logo on that. So what it means, I cannot tell you, but it means, well, I guess it means this board's gonna ride good. I've noticed myself, if I don't have my boards painted how I normally paint them, I don't find I skate as good. Could literally be just like a mental thing. I'm psyching myself out, but who knows? Could be fucking space magic and I'm on to something. We will not know. All I know is it works, so whichever way it works, I don't care. I just want it to work. So as you can see, I kind of already started. This logo here is part of my astrology chart. So I'm not really gonna explain too much about astrology charts. Well, I could sit here and talk for 3 hours about astrology charts and give you a real good explanation. But for the sake of this video, in the Cole's notes, your astrology chart is just where the planets were when you were born. So if you're Capricorn, that's usually because your sun, this is the symbol for sun, was in Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, so on and so forth. If you're Leo, your sun was in the sign of Leo. If you're in Aquarius, your sun was in the sign of Aquarius. What people typically don't know is they have signs for each planet. So, for example, I'm a Capricorn because my sun was in Capricorn, but my moon was in the sign of Scorpio. So on and so forth. You could have your moon in the sign of Libra, but your sun is in the sign of Pisces. Like it gets complicated. It's unlikely for you to have every planet in the same sign because the planets go around a circle, but they all go around at different rates. So the sun, it takes 1 year for it to go through all 12 signs, hence us having a year. Moon, it only takes 28 days for it to go around all 12 signs. Saturn takes 29 years, and so on and so forth. The further planets, the longer time it takes. So something like Pluto takes, I don't know, it's like 30 years in a sign or something like that. So something to that effect. Long time, basically. So things closer to the sun, i.e. Mercury takes, I don't know what it takes, like 200 days, 160 days. I don't know the stats on those, but if you get the idea, then you get the idea from what I just said. If you don't, God help you. Anyways, I have these all connected because my sun is in Capricorn, my Rahu is in Capricorn, my Uranus is in Capricorn, no jokes. My Neptune's in Capricorn, and my Saturn's in Capricorn. So since they're all in the same sign, I just kind of draw the sun in the middle and connect all these little fuckers to it. And so it is a depiction of what is in my astral chart. So then this little guy, stories galore of him, but he's just sort of something I made up one day. I kind of made him without the skateboard, and I just put this Merkaba around his head. Some people call it Star David, vice versa. It doesn't have any actually Jewish affiliation for me, but the Merkaba is just kind of, I don't know, the idea of geometry. And again, I could sit here for 2 hours and explain it properly, but for the sake of the video, it's just to kind of show the interconnectedness of man with the space around him, and these tentacles coming out is kind of like for me, being able to see even past the world we live in, you know, communicate with space, be a space pimp. So anyways, I've even got this fucker tattooed on me. I got him tattooed on me when I was in France, running away over some heartbreak. But good life. Anyways, that guy is on all my boards, and I always line up the wheels with the 2 bolt holes. So whenever I grip a board, he's the first thing I paint. Then I paint this logo up here, and then I go through some standards. I usually put Slaughter. Slaughter's always on there, and Slaughter is, I find it a funny word because if you cover the S, it just says laughter, and then you put slaughter, laughter, slaughter, laughter. I like the sort of poetry of that, like it's so happy, it's so dark, happy, dark, I always like it when there's words hidden in other words, so that's what that says, and that's kind of why I do that, because it's like a secret message or something. Like, if you can't laugh at the slaughter and you're just depressed about the slaughter all the time, well, you're gonna be depressed all the time. I don't know. It's kind of fucking simple. That may sound too simplified, but you know, it's just a matter of perspective. Is it laughter? Is it slaughter? Is it both? Slaughter can be funny. Definitely not the sheep videos I've seen on the internet. That's I understand why people go vegan. It's just on the basis of that. This is a crane. So in Egyptian mythology, cranes were the animal that they thought could see into the future. And loosely, the idea was like the crane's neck was so long that it saw above and then thus beyond. So cranes are often used in Egyptian symbolism, hieroglyphs, or whatever. And to as far as the science dickweeds or whoever figured out, they kind of thought that the crane was to symbolize foreseeing. So that to me is the most useful skill set you could develop, is to be able to foresee outcomes and you know, avoid outcomes that you don't want to. A lot of it's quite simple. I mean, there's a reason you don't just take a hammer and, you know, hammer your foot or hammer your hand, because you foresee that it will cause you pain, undue pain. So foresight can be as simple as that, or it can be even more complex. Will I get married? What is the best job to do? What will my life look like in 20 years? So on and so forth. You know, obviously we get to make a lot of choices. So foresight is only as, it kind of, maybe you get what I'm saying. There's only so far it can go, because you can choose to just do a different way. So even if you foresaw that your life would be this way in 20 years, you might get 5 years in and think, I want to do something else. And so it is. So yeah, foresight has its limitations, as does everything. 88 is my favorite number. This little squiggle here is a sign for air. I put him holding up the moon to his face. The moon is reflective and contemplative in nature, so he's looking into the moon and kind of seeing himself back and being able to transcend himself, so he's clear enough to foresee the future. I'll leave that at that, but that makes sense if you're listening. Then he has the sun just kind of holding the energy down, like keeping his energy in control, I guess. So that's why I put the sun there, and then have the moon raised up. And I just did these little kind of squiggles. Again, sort of similar idea to the antennas of like being able to access higher realities. And then the air by his neck. Air is the only element that's not dependent upon other elements. So if you just use the 4 elements of water, fire, earth, like earth needs fire, i.e. sun, and water to grow. So you know, picture a tree, needs that, and also needs air. Water, it needs earth to contain it, to give it, you know, places to go, and also obviously the wind can create waves, and the sun or the heat can create tides or waves too. I don't know how nature works that well, but anyways, air just exists. Like, air doesn't need fire to like make it warm. Air can be cold and just exist. Air doesn't need earth to nurture it. Like, for example, fire would need earth, i.e. fire would need trees and wood to give it something to burn, and it would need air to let it ignite. But air on its own just doesn't need anything. So it's kind of an anomaly amongst those four elements where it's independent. And thus I put it near his neck so that he can be independent of his heart. If he doesn't want to, be emotional in his foresight, he can have the clearest foresight. So that you now know if you cared. The other logo that usually is on here is this sword. I just took the Eye of Horus or Eye of Ra, whichever one, and then made a sword kind of shape to it. So just cool. I like swords. Swords usually symbolize intellect and your ability to kind of cut through things and see to the core. So I thought it was kind of poetic. It had a form of an all-seeing eye. So cut through the core and see the whole real deal. Quickly, this is a logo I drew. I'm a big fan of bats. Bats to me my spirit animal, if I would say. I've always had affinity to bats. As a kid, Batman was my favorite, and where I grew up, there's bats in the attic in both places I live, so it's kind of been a creature that's followed me around for some time, and like in terms of symbolism, I'm not even gonna get into it. If you want to go read up bat symbolism, you can read up bat symbolism. I've been rambling enough already. The last one here is just similar to the planet symbol. This is the symbol for Pluto, and this is the symbol for Moon. My Pluto and my Moon are in Scorpio, and they're very closely conjunct. So it's the same idea. Since these are all in Capricorn, they're all connected. Since both these are in Scorpio, I made them connected. So that's about the last of it. Fuchsia translations is something I always write on the tail, and that's a concept of, translating fucking messages from the fuchsia, whatever that means. I know. If you want a more in-depth analysis or explanation, you can ask me when you see me. So, anyways, I'm gonna start painting, and this we'll go on into a time lapse, I figure, and we'll get this all done. So I need to finish up this little spot on my Capricorn planetary depiction here, and then I'll probably do the slaughter. I'll do the crane here, sword, fuchsia translations, fit the bat in there somewhere, and there's a logo I didn't put on there, but it's similar to this logo. I just kind of turn it into an hourglass, and I'll point that out when I'm done. So anyways, now we go get our supplies ready, I guess. Yeah, so it's time for Siggy's. So I'm gonna get up, grab the camera, and you kind of come with me. And we will go smoke cigarettes. Wish they still had Viceroy cigarettes, but they don't. So now I smoke McDonald's original. La Jam Room. I don't know if you guys got a full pan of it last time, but drum set, that's the PA. I just put the unicorn up on there a little while ago, a few days ago. That's the mixer for the PA and the microphone. Lots of pedals, the amp. So this is what I was talking about. I feel like it would be cooler without this, just the orange. But when I tried to take it off, you are not going to be able to see that, but anyways, it was pulling the fabric, so alas, there she lies. We're back. Smoke break complete. Slaughter complete. And now it's time for think a sword will be first. And we'll let that dry. We'll do the sword. This is savvy. If I were to do the crane, the arm would be going in the wet paint. So it's close to being dry. A couple letters here are still wet, but if I do the sword and the stuff down here, this can put my shit through my shit. So clever boy, Caleb, clever boy. Anyways, the sword will be in gold and probably fit the bat in. I think it'll fit well there. And we may do the fuchsia translations as well. We'll see once we get the sword done what is the most practical route to take, using my foresight to do the wisest logo position next. Foresight brought to you by the crane in Egypt. Finished fuchsia, at least, and spelled it correctly. So that means Siggy's. A nice glass of water will be alright. I just put some peanuts out for the squirrel that's been eating out of my bird feeder. I'll go check on him, see if he figured out what to do. I imagine he will have. So there's fuchsia. Fuchsia's down, then translations will go kind of wrap around here. So got a good enough amount of space for it. Should be able to make it look all right. And so. Back again. Round 3. Almost complete. I will be a happy boy when this is done, because do I look tired? I'm a wee bit tired. It is sometime shortly after 10 a.m. on Monday, and I have been up since, well, 8 p.m. last night. So, not my longest stint, but the day before I had been up. Let's see, Saturday I woke up at 11, went to the Highland Games with a friend, went to my sister's engagement party and partied till midnight there, then left, got to drive home with my grandma, thank you Nanny, and stayed up all night until 10 a.m. on Sunday, so I was at 24 hours then. And then I was about to go to bed, and I got a phone call from my sister asking me to go for breakfast. I said no, because I was just about to go to sleep. I've been awake for 24 hours. Then I got a phone call from one of my wife and I's friends, and she was in town, wanted to drop by for a visit, so I said yes. I had a lovely visit with her, but I only got to bed at 2 p.m. So I was up for 27-ish hours. So then I went to bed from 2 until 8, which I guess is 6 hours sleep, and then up again. So I'm ready for some sleep. Anyways, that being said, I write translations here, I do a crane here, I do a little hourglass logo thing there, and I get to go meet my mattress. So that I am looking forward to. So without further ado, I guess I get to it. I think that may be it. Crane, got the air, got the moon, got the sun, got the 88. I was thinking about putting my little hourglass logo in here, but space-wise, it'd be tight, and as it is now, it looks alright.